Rolling now?
We're rolling on both.
Hello, this is Addy and Matt on Matt's phone. I thought let's just acknowledge that we're very nervous.
Hugely.
We didn't need to do this to ourselves.
No, we could have been at home having a really relaxed, quiet, normal
100%.
evening in, but we're here.
Yeah, 3 months ago we had no sense of this
None whatsoever.
at all. But let's just remember that these nerves, because we haven't felt them in a while, and we've been talking about it, and I think this is a very special moment. So
Agreed.
I'm proud of you and for everything that we've accomplished.
Me too, man. And what we're about to accomplish. I love you too. Let's do it.
Good evening! Hello! Welcome to the Bread and Roses Theatre. Thank you so much for coming. That's Andy George.
That's Matt Preston.
We are everyday theatre. We are going to be with you on this stage for the next 40 to 45 minutes. Everything you see on this stage is going to be entirely made up. We have no idea what's about to happen any more than you do. 40 to 45 minutes or so, and then we're going to exit. When we exit through those curtains, the same ones that we came on through, that is your cue. The show is over. You may applaud, you may cheer, you may sit there in stony silence. Whatever you prefer. Once again, thank you so much for coming. We really hope you enjoy the show.
Interior day. Night. Cold, isn't it? Never. Yes. To be or not to be?
Morning. Absolute bender last night.
Well, I should imagine it was.
Have
you been home?
I am home now.
The bookshop doesn't count, Terry.
Fine. I'm home. If home is where you're allowed to be, because your girlfriend changed the locks. Or, and you shouldn't rule this out, you couldn't find the right key. I don't know, man.
Have you even texted Marie? Let her know you are safe if you didn't make it through your own door, Terry?
I think she took the banging and shouting as a sign that I could have made it home if I wanted to. But these tricksy little points of metal foiled me again.
Do you want a coffee?
Please.
You really can't be doing this. You know that, Terry, right? It's not professional. You're gonna have to close this place one day because people won't come in with your feet on the chairs.
I don't think Simon says.
Yes, use my full name, Wood.
It was a poor choice from your parents and I stand by it. Look, I don't think, Simon, it's my feet on your precious writing chair that are preventing people from coming in. I think it might be the fact that when people do come in, you're too damn busy scribbling away on that novel that you've been writing for how many years?
7. Well, I suppose we're both disappointed in one another then, aren't we? But I'm still going to make you a cappuccino because that's what a best friend does. Because you stink of alcohol. Seriously, would it have killed you to take a shower?
The second you install one in the bookshop, I will gladly use it.
You're ridiculous, you know that? You're absolutely ridiculous. And you have to shape up today. Today of all days. You know why, right? Don't tell me you forgot why.
Oh boy. I know this one. Lake Superior, that's not it. I'm sorry. I can't know. Simon, say to me. Oh man.
We have a book signing here. Our first book signing ever. This up-and-coming author is coming in, hopefully drawing a crowd and signing copies of their book.
Oh, Tammy Lynn Abrahams.
Tammy Lynn Abrahams.
Tammy Lynn Abrahams.
That's right. And you know her book, of course.
Yeah, well, of course.
Say the title.
Oh man, why? Oh, what was it?
A bridge.
A bridge over surprisingly calm water. Right?
Right. Are you okay? Seriously, are you okay? I almost feel like I'm being a bad friend to you if I don't ask at this point. One night a week was fine. This is getting frequent.
Well, if you're going to be asking searching questions, I feel like I owe you a few as well. That was me, not the cupboard. That hurt. How's dry January going?
Why do you ask?
Because this is half empty and I don't like brandy.
Then it's not going well, is it? I think you know that. Well, we can go over each other's traumas, or we can maybe try and save this place. And for your information, that's the first time you've asked. Thanks. It's actually not been alright. So, I'm trying to do better. We're open now, in case you can't read us.
Yeah, well, yeah. It was swimming. A bit. Hi.
Oh, hello. Hi. Yes, a customer.
Yes.
Shoot.
Hi. Books.
Yes, of course. Hi, Mr. Says. Simon.
And
you are?
Janine.
Janine.
Janine Weathers.
Janine Weathers.
You can let go of my
So sorry.
hand now.
So
Simon,
sorry.
thank you. That's okay. That's okay. I admire.
We need books!
Okay. Whoa.
Sorry.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong.
What
Simon
are you?
says.
What are you looking for, Janine Weathers? We have everything. We have the histories and tragedies over
Good.
here.
Yep.
We have the sciences and the comedies over there.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I can do your cappuccino if you'd like.
The drink.
Yes.
Cool. Those are already 4 categories of books that you have here.
Yes.
Right, because I'm from a primary school and that's a little out of the 4 to 6 year olds range.
Okay. Okay. Good point. Good
So,
point.
hey, don't worry, it's just I've been all the way up and down this high street.
Is there something you're looking for?
Yes, a bookshop. What, and then I came into this one. No, I just
Are you okay?
sorry, let me start from scratch.
Sure. Says Simon.
Oh, good handshake. Good grief, that hurt just as much the second time. Hi. Sorry, I didn't say hi to you earlier. Right, he's good. A regular patron?
Yes. Yes. He's a struggling actor, and we let him in.
Aren't we all?
What are you looking for?
Right, so I just when I was younger, it was Biff and Chip. It was these kids' books. I forget which one the dog was, frankly. And a small group of boys, girls, non-binary individuals. I don't know. And, it was, and they just ran around having completely harmless and relatively innocuous adventures. But the kids loved them. I loved them, and I just started with Key Stage 1.
Yes.
No books in the library to speak of. No library, frankly, it's just a shelf, which is empty. So it's just a shelf. There's no library. Can't stress enough how few books there are. So I'm looking to maybe start that. This is a bookshop. Not a big fan of W.H. Smith's. HMV shut.
You're about 10 years too late for that. Well, we don't have that, but can I interest you in a story of a friendly guy who has another friend called Yargo. And that friend's not very nice to him and makes him wonder and worry about his other friend Desdemona. And maybe this wasn't a good idea.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe not that one. Maybe
what
not
about
that
this
one.
one?
Do you mind if
Have a seat, please.
Wake up, we have a customer.
You have to kick me.
Yes, I do. You were snoring.
Okay, but you know that I snore.
Yeah, but she doesn't need
Hi,
to know that.
nice to meet you. How do you do? Terry.
Hi. Oh, that is limp and stinky. Yes. Yes. Hi, Janine. Janine Wells.
What can I do for you, huh?
Absolutely nothing. What about sorry, I get a bit cranky when I haven't had a coffee. Would you mind?
Yes, we can.
If that's
Yes, we can.
if that's okay.
You know, I've actually written a children's book. That was Shakespeare, if you couldn't
No, I
tell
got
over
that.
there.
Yeah, no. Yeah, 3 years of English lit at Bristol, not going to waste.
Sheffield.
Yeah, 4 years. Not that you studied, the years that you were there.
2014 to 17. Really? That makes us both
The same age,
age that
roughly.
we are.
Yeah, it is. Oh, that's good. Thank you.
Well, I can show you.
The book.
Yes, only if you want it. It's totally fine. But I have it right here, actually.
Are the other options literal Shakespeare?
Yes.
Then I'll take a look at yours. Oh, goodness. Thank you. I won't. Are you showing her your book?
I was going to, yes.
She seems nice. You should show her the book.
What do you think I'm doing? I'm doing
Show
it.
her the book.
I'm doing it.
Oh yeah, sorry, Sam. Can I have another coffee?
Right. So what do we have here? Do you want to maybe walk me through this one?
Sure. So, I was thinking when I was writing it that a lot of books, children's books, are very simple, and then I wanted to subvert that, and then I realised it's for children, and that's a really bad idea. So this starts at home with a really happy child.
Oh, I see that.
Simona.
Loving parents, Simona. Oh, a little dog.
Little dog, yes. Fluffy. It's a boring name, but
It's very
I liked it.
believable.
yeah, it is. It is.
Oh, and he has a best friend.
Yeah, he does. Trevor. Terry, for short.
Huh.
It's not shorter. It's the same number of syllables. But everyone calls him Terry.
No, I see that, and they go around everywhere together.
They
and
have
they have adventures. That's so sweet.
they
Oh,
have the best time.
but Terry goes away.
Terry does. I didn't want the book to be all happy, lovey-dovey, sunshine and rainbows because I didn't want to lie. So Terry does go away, and it's okay. That's only about halfway through the book. The rest of the book is Simona making it on their own. And that's all right. They have adventures. They make new friends. They have a great time.
Does Trevor come back? They gotta come back, right?
I'd like to think so. I'd like to think so.
Because
But
then it wouldn't be a good story. I mean, for Trevor, why would Trevor just go away and not come back?
I don't know. I don't know why Trevor would do that.
Okay. Well, it's a lovely book.
Hi, sorry, no, I came in while that was going on. Seems like I've interrupted something really quite deep here.
Yes, hi. Look, Pleasure. No, don't
Hi.
go. Please don't go. Mr. Says. Hi, Simon.
Your goodness, sorry, it wasn't me.
Books! You need books!
Oh my goodness, no, I don't. I wrote one. Hi, it's me. Yes. Hello.
Lynn. Anne? Lynn?
Call me Lynn.
Hi. So sorry. Get up. We can put you right here.
Um,
Thank you so much for coming in. Really appreciate
No,
it.
no, it's okay. I always like to visit the fans, no matter
Yes.
how overzealous or horrible smelling they happen to be.
You have a beautiful book, by the way. Bridge Over Surprisingly Calm Water was I couldn't put it down. It was amazing, actually. Really amazing. Well written as well. I'm a writer too. I'm rambling too much. He is.
You sting.
Well,
So, I presume my assistant sent ahead the information about my rider.
yes, that's right. Your rider, of course. We have it just here, don't we? Yes, we do. Yes, your rider. Right, okay. I have to confess, we don't yet have a lot of these. But
Is mink hard to come by in this town?
yes, and in every town actually, you're not supposed to have that one.
That's never stopped anyone before. Caviars. Passed a river on the way here. It was polluted and there was a Sainsbury's trolley in it, but it might help catch the fish. I don't know how you do things.
I'm afraid to say, I don't have any of them.
Oh, that is disappointing. What a bitch.
I like you. What do you do?
Teacher.
Ha! A teacher.
Yeah.
He's a teacher in one of my books. What do you teach?
Children.
What do they learn?
ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, easy as you and me.
I like you.
Just gonna keep reading this, if that's okay.
What is it?
A book.
It's yours?
No, actually, it's his.
Hi. Again. Simon says.
Oh, from before, when I came in.
I actually did not leave. So.
Sorry.
Been here the whole time.
I like to imagine that when I'm not looking at something, it disappears, and when I open my eyes again, it's a brand new story.
Is that how I sound to you? Yeah. I actually wrote it. It's a little children's book, but it has some themes. And
Oh,
actually,
children's book, how quaint. I started writing children's books, but they didn't call them children's books because they were for children. They called them children's books because I was a child when I wrote them.
It's very good. All the same, we really don't have any of your riders.
I don't like her either. I think you should kick her out.
Pardon? Kick her out? I can't kick her out. We're barely full. There's even a spare seat where I write my novels. If I start kicking people out, our store's never going to do well.
Stores never don't do well until you stand on your own 2 feet.
What is that supposed to mean?
Oh, is this an assistant?
This is my
Lackey?
This is my friend Harry. He
Friend?
runs the store with me. I suppose you have an analysis of our relationship or something.
Hadn't bothered. Now, anyway, about my book signing.
Yes, well,
Reading, signing, I'll do it all, but for a hefty sum. Haven't received the check yet.
well, we can't pay. Look around. We only have 4 types of books. I'm trying to sell my novel to the first customer that we've had all day.
Oh dear.
And if you thought you were going to get a huge bonus, then I think you might have come to the wrong place. It's just that we do this because we love reading. We love being transported away to worlds that we could never have thought of on our own. We love seeing ourselves on the page.
Yes, that's all very well, but a massive check was number 1 on my rider. So if you don't have that, I'm afraid, sonny boy, you don't have me.
Well, I suppose I don't. Sorry to have wasted your time.
Oh, trust me, I'm the one who's sorry.
Did that sound threatening to you as well?
What a bitch! Look, that was awful. Clearly an awful person. Clearly an awful person. You don't want that. Well, I mean, you want anyone in here, I suppose, but you don't want that person in here. Well, you want anyone, but
Why did you become a teacher?
because I couldn't make it as a writer. Look,
Really?
well, no, look, well, yes and no. I was a writer for a while. I was, and I loved it. Creating these worlds and just piling them onto the paper and watching it become so much more than the individual words. And then having it bound. I published a book, and it was tiny and basically none sold, but it was the best feeling in the world. And then it wasn't a huge commercial success.
How many copies did you sell?
Just 6 or 7. Six or seven.
Was it 6 or was it?
It was 6. It was 6, which is round.
At that size, you know if it's 6 or 7.
I do, yeah. I trust.
It's
Yeah,
not like 6 or 700. It's you count.
6. It was 6. No, I
Six or
I
seven.
get that. Yeah. Well, you know what?
Why would you say 4 7?
Well, I could have said 6 or 1,000, and it would still have been one of those. It just would have been the lower one.
Oh, sure.
No, I just wanted 6 or 7 sounds like it.
But it was 6, you know.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware it was 6. I have several letters from the publisher with that digit burned into my brain. I know.
It would struggle with 9.
No, I don't know. So would have been 6 or 9 then, wouldn't I? That would have been a genuine question.
Would it? Because
No.
6 and 9 are not. Sorry, you
No.
were saying something before this.
Yes. Basically, the long story short is it's because of people like her that I left.
Meaning what?
Look, writing is a business. Sorry, I'll pick a side.
Yeah.
Writing is a business like anything else. You don't make money. If you're not tough enough, you lose. You're out. My first publisher was. I'll do. My first publisher was really nice, understanding, but potentially because of that, because they kept being understanding and nice to writers who only sold 6 to 7 copies of their book, they went out of business shortly afterwards. And I was chucking around for a new publisher, and I met a lot like her. I know she's a writer, but writers are publishers, publishers are writers. They all know the world, and it was stuck up, pretentious, self-absorbed, and I regret using the word I did earlier. Cows like her that drove me out of it because I couldn't hack it, or maybe I just didn't want to. So take my advice from one writer to another. If you want to make that work, that book, you've got to grow a thick skin, and you've got to be prepared. Stand up to people like that.
Can I ask you a question?
Fire away.
Who do you sell the 6 to?
I have 4 brothers and 2 sisters.
Did they like it?
No. I gave 1 back. Then I sold it again, which is what 7 kind of means, but it doesn't count because net export still 6.
Did you like writing it?
I loved writing.
Isn't that something then? Isn't that the point of this, all of this? Isn't that what he did when he wrote Othello and Twelfth Night and all of those? Wasn't he just writing what he wanted? He made up half the words, didn't he?
I'm not sure you can compare either of us to William Shakespeare. There's also a great deal of controversy about whether or not his works were actually his own. However, looking at the base metaphor, yes. You could say that the joy is in the writing, but you could also say that I'm a writer and I'm not. I'm a teacher. And I love it. I love being a teacher. I am teaching the next generation of writers, and there is no greater story to write than your future. And that's what I'm helping them do. But I will give it all for 1 more day as an actual writer.
Let it be today. Let it be now. You don't have to give anything away. You're here at a table with a laptop, at a chair, with a freaking coffee machine in a bookshop. Why not just write something? Anything. It doesn't have to be good. You don't even have to show it to me. What's stopping you? Seriously, what's stopping you?
I don't know.
It's all right.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I will. Is it okay if I stay here?
Yes, you will need to purchase something.
Othello?
That I can do.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. You're actually my first sale of the day.
Well, you hadn't been open long. How many sales?
Simon! Sorry, you seen Simon?
It was just
He's in the
here.
back, is he?
Sorry, can I help? I guess I'm.
Sorry, we met earlier. Terry.
Sorry, you've sobered up since then. And changed. Are those clothes? The tags are still on them. Are those new?
Don't ask questions.
I
Don't want to know.
don't. Sorry.
I was hoping
Terry.
to find Simon actually.
No, I think
I'll
you
just sit and wait.
Um,
I'm actually
Sure.
supposed to be working, so I better supervise.
this shop has 2 employees. What the hell do you do?
I've been asking myself that question all day.
All day.
I think I'm a bad friend.
Uh-huh.
And I think I'm a bad boyfriend too.
To Simon or to?
I've got a
You've got
partner.
Lord. You let 2 people down.
Maybe more. I think maybe. I thought for too long I was the hero of my story and that gave me free rein to do whatever I wanted. But in actuality, I think maybe being the hero in your own story means you have a responsibility to do right by everyone else.
And why doesn't that make you a hero? What's the problem with that being your heroic trait? Exactly.
No, what I'm saying is I'm still the hero.
Yeah, but you don't seem happy about it.
Well, I've had a big day of introspection, I'd say.
Sounds like you had a big day of something, but I'm not sure introspection was it.
It's been a roller coaster 24 hours for me. What are you doing now?
I was. Why lie? I was just about to write a book. I'll start writing a book. I can't just sit down and write a whole book. I'm not Shakespeare.
Don't let me keep you.
No, wait.
Okay, so I have your gift wrap for. Oh, hey Terry. Good to have you back in the store. So
Yeah, hi.
great. You just took a walk, did you?
Yeah, just got some.
Yeah, other tags.
They're still on. Don't question it. I think there's a coat hanger still rattling around in here as well. Actually, I'll ask you to get that out later. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Well, you seem to be in better shape.
Yes. But no. Sorry, it's waiting too long. No, hang on. I wrote it down in the River Island changing room. While I changed.
Emotionally?
Fashionably. We don't talk enough about you. I'm always coming in here, drinking, dribbling, just being loud, and you always ask me, these are in the wrong order, hang on. You always ask me how I am, and I always respond with some flippant, facetious comment, and I never ask you how you are, and you told me today that was the first time, today was the first time I've asked you how you are. So I want today to be a day when we talk about you, because I'm worried about you. I'm worried about you because I remember a Simon who would never, ever drink. And drinking's fine, moderation. I'm not very good at controlling it. I'm not saying that you're not, but it's not the fact that you drink now. It's the fact you didn't tell me, because that seems like quite a big change. You never did. You never did touch it. It's just life choice or not. So today, now I'm back. I've swallowed 2.5 pints of water, a pack of not a pack of ibuprofen. That's incredibly stupid. 2 ibuprofen, and I have the rest of them for later. I cannot stress that enough. I think it's about time that you and I talked about you for once.
And scene. I finished Simon's book. I know I was supposed to be writing something new, but it seemed so clearly that your book was missing a chapter.
Oh.
And to be perfectly honest, the Simona and Trevor names were a dead giveaway. So. I think I got what I needed from this.
Apart from actual books. Apart from, well, I think Othello's yours. Take it. Just take it. You haven't paid. Just take it.
I got a story, and I got a lesson, and I think I'm going to write my own.
I hope she comes back.
She was nice.
She was nice.
But seriously, mate, if I haven't checked in enough, I've been so absorbed in my own stuff, then I'm sorry. You know each other.
I do. But sometimes I don't. Look, I really appreciate you checking in, and I know that this conversation isn't going to go stale. So I just want to say, if you really want to help today, if you really want today to be about me, we have a book signing and reading later, and no author, because she left.
She had an outrageous list of demands, though, mink and caviar and
Money.
fee.
Yeah. We need to sort that out, because I have a lot of patrons booked, and we cannot disappoint them again.
We're not going to disappoint them. We've got an author in the house.
Well, she just left.
No, it's you.
Oh, it's me.
I don't think I could have been more clear.
You could have said my name.
I'm looking right at you.
Did nothing I've said. Communication
There was a
is
level of eye
everything.
contact
No,
that you would have
you always
never
look me in the
you
eyes.
know
No,
I
no, I
wouldn't
don't know that.
have.
You are such
Obviously,
an obscure.
I'm looking at you.
Jesus,
Fully.
I don't
My
care.
face
Look
could
at-
not-
I know. I'm
What,
looking at
because
you.
I'm
I'm looking
here,
at
oh,
you.
we're
I'm talking about.
You're
No,
the
this is
only
ridiculous.
person
I cannot
who
do
can
it. I can't do it with you.
understand. When I say we've got someone in the house, you're the only one.
Thank you. That's a great compliment. But I don't.
I'm going to take care of everything. I'm going to reposter the marketing.
Right.
I'm going to make sure people know that it's you and not them. There's going to be no disappointment. And all you have to do is believe that what you've written is worth reading. And trust me, it is.
But they're all like grown adults expecting a grown adult book, and I'm going to read them a story which genuinely features a dog piloting a spaceship.
You think that story's for kids.
It is. It's demonstrably. There is literally a sign on my front cover in my head that says ages 4 to 8.
Well, I got something.
You were drunk. And you were probably drunk when you read it.
Well, you just take the compliment.
No, fine. I'm sorry. I'm not used to this sort of candor from you.
Maybe today can be the first day.
Right. Fine. Okay. You convinced me. But like the book's in about 10 minutes. How would you propose we go about this in 10 minutes?
Figure out.
I mean, we figure it out now is kind of what I'm pushing for here.
I'll go now then. Well, this is your thing.
Okay.
You have to just accept a little bit of love sometimes.
Okay, fine.
Don't just bog it down in logistics. I'm sorry.
Okay, you got me. You're right.
Tell me to sort it out.
Sort it out.
Of course I will. You know why?
Okay.
Because Simon says. You get it?
Yeah, no, I get it. No, I get it.
Jeez, you're Simon and Simon Says. Do you ever play Simon?
Yeah, I played Simon Said.
I'll go if I need to go. But because I said Simon Says, it was very cool. I'll go to the thing.
Okay.
Where is my caviar?
You're back.
My mink! I understand in 10 minutes I'll be signing adoring fans' books.
You left.
Yes.
And you said, if I don't have your money, then you don't have me.
Well, I assumed that was a negotiation play on your behalf, and it worked very well. I'll take half the money.
You didn't.
A quarter of the money. Half the money, no mink, but I'll do the caviar. 3/4 of the money, all the mink and all the caviar. No caviar, 2 mink. Just stop me when I'm nowhere near you. 10 caviar. Look, I'm starting to believe you really don't want me. Could you possibly have a plan in place that's not me, Lynn?
I'm afraid I meant what I said before. And I also want you to mean what you said before.
Are you kicking me out of this?
Well surmised. Yes, I am, because this store doesn't need a trumped up author high on the fumes of success to impress our customers or even to bring them in. And I certainly don't need to put up with you in order to make myself feel accomplished.
Huh. Do you remember when I made that incredibly ominous note as I left?
I do. I read into it. Others around here didn't.
Well, you were right.
Oh,
because
no.
I'm going to post on all of my social medias that an upstart new author is usurping me at the book signing, and no one should come.
At Simon Says _book.
At Simon Says _book.
Have you tweeted that?
It's gone.
It's gone. So just to be clear, you, an incredibly successful author with, I believe, just over 1 million followers on, it's called X these days, just tweeted saying you have been not overtaken, not replaced, but literally usurped.
Yes, I used that word.
Usurped,
yes.
as in to
Replace
serve you,
and
yes. By an upstart author that you went as far as to tag.
Yes, I did. And
I do believe that might be the kindest thing you could have done for me.
Does this not read how I wanted it to
I'm
read?
not sure it does. No.
Young upstart,
Yeah.
new author at Simon_books is genuinely very talented and I think could do well. Anyway, he'll be signing, not me. Please come along, please come along. I meant that brutally.
Seems the water is a little more than surprisingly untroubled. That was me telling you
No,
to
you
leave.
did.
Don't get out. Go.
All right. Not bad.
It's an okay start, right?
It's pretty damn good.
I am high on adrenaline right now. I cannot believe I got away with that.
You want a coffee?
No, absolutely not. I'll take. No, no, I don't need it.
What is that sound, Albert? Have you seen this?
No.
There is a queue of people forming. Yeah. Three chairs.
Three. I'll be sat in one. Yeah. So that's two. Two chairs.
I could
You could stand. I think I might have to insist that you stand. Okay. So that's. I mean, that's still two. That hasn't gained. We haven't gained chairs through that. We could advertise it as 2 to 3 chairs and hope that people. Is that not?
Hello, we've got 2 to 3 chairs. What's that? Oh, you don't care. Oh, you'll sit on the floor. Oh, you're very excited about young upstart novelist Simon Says.
I think you're making some of that up.
What's that? And his attractive friend Trevor.
Yeah, you're definitely right. Oh, Trevor, you changed clothes, but you haven't showered.
I know, just get involved.
Okay.
Just get involved. This is what friendship is, man.
I feel damp.
It's not pretty, is it?
No, it's not. Oh, you mean? No.
I'm going to open that door now.
All right, bring them in, and I will read them a 13-page children's book. I guess describe the illustrations to kill some time.
Will you read the whole book for us? I think you just said I'll read the whole thing, and you said I'll describe some illustrations. That's what you said. I didn't say it.
I am a man of my word. I'll read it, no matter how bored they become.
Simon Says. Hello, yes, I'm Walker.
Oh, hello, yes, I'm here. Different chair, floor space.
David Attenborough.
Yes, go ahead.
As king, I will say.
All right, well, yeah, go ahead.
Goodness me.
Have a seat. Well, everyone, please attention.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, we play bridge and we're on Twitter.
Who are you?
The king. It's very clear.
Well, Simon, sorry, is gonna read now his 13-page novel. Some beats of which we already know.
Yeah,
so
we do know
Yeah.
some of them.
Yeah. But now he's finished his novel with a new chapter, so I'm excited, and the illustrations, of course. Don't forget those. I have always loved fictional.
You're a national treasure. It's an honor to have you. There is literally a spare seat. Can you please sit in it?
Fair enough. You don't mind if I film this? Watch as the author. Emotionally developed, a satisfying tale.
On the spot.
Yes.
This is an unconventional book reading because I am horrendously unprepared, barely an author, and facing away from all of you.
of staging.
I love you, David Attenborough. Really do. Okay, here we go. Simona. So don't you fucking don't do it.
Sorry.
13 pages of this again. Simon lived in a happy little house on a happy little street with a happy little family. Smack you off that chair. Simon's life was happy. School was happy. His family were happy, but he was most happy when with his friend, Terry. There's an illustration, Simon and Terry playing football. Terry is obviously better. Simon and Terry would spend all of their time together. They played together, they went to school together, they had adventures together. Simon and Terry wearing those old-fashioned adventurer hats and the beige outfit that looks good, but is horribly ill-advised for actual adventuring because the mosquitoes can get you pretty much everywhere. I wouldn't.
Just feels like you got off track a bit.
I did a bit. I'll stick to it this time. Simon and Terry went all over the world. They went to the jungle, they went to the desert, they went to the Arctic, they went to the very depths of the Pacific, and one day, thanks to some truly extraordinary piloting techniques from their dog Fluffy, they went to the moon. Fluffy pilots a spacecraft. Simon never thought he would be happier than when he was with Terry. But then one day, Terry left. Terry went very far away, further than he and Simon had ever gone on any of their adventures. And Simon couldn't find him. And this, for the first time in Simon's life, made him unhappy. Suddenly, everything was unhappy. School was unhappy. His family were unhappy. Simon had never felt this way. And Simon grew a little bit older. He celebrated his birthdays. He slowly rediscovered how to be happy. Simon blowing out candles on a cake. And slowly Simon missed Terry less. But he never forgot Terry. And to this day, Simon never forgot Terry. One day, on a particularly unhappy day, the front door bell rang. Simon answered it because he was a big boy now and he could reach the doorknob. Simon reaching a doorknob. I didn't remember drawing that. Simon opened the door and standing before him, well, he couldn't believe his eyes. It was Terry. Fluffy yapped like the happy dog that Fluffy used to be. Fluffy had been unhappy too. Oh my goodness, said Simon. Terry, I can't believe it. I thought you'd gone forever. Terry stepped through the door, a knowing smile on his face. He said, I was gone for a while, Simon, but I never really left your side. And I'm back now. I'm sorry. And I won't ever leave you again. And they hugged. And Fluffy yapped. And the end. Okay. And see.
What did you think, Sir David Attenborough?
I thought, I filmed tales of grandeur all over the world. That best of them all. And again, I'm in my 90s. I'm not sure what's going on. Excuse me, I need to go make another documentary. This time, at last, it's about me.
All right, everyone, get out of here. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You can go.
Appreciate that.
I can't sign them because it's not printed. I can give you a memory stick. Now, bye.
What did I tell you, huh? You did it.
I did. I've never felt that happy. Are you back?
I'm back. Are you back?
I'm back. And we have a lot of work to do.
I'll make 2 coffees. Come on. So grateful for you for being here. This show clearly does not happen without you. Thank you very, very much for coming. You've really given us such an amazing experience tonight, and we will remember this for a very long time. So thank you so much for coming. That's Matt Preston.
That's Andy George.
We are. Thank you very much. We are Everyday Theatre. You can find us at Everyday Theatre on Instagram, where you can leave a comment and a review and let us know what you liked, what you didn't like. And the good news is, if you liked it, it's completely different tomorrow. So come back. And the good news is, if you hated it, it's completely different tomorrow. Come by anytime. We'd love to spend time with you again tomorrow night. Same time, same place. What am I forgetting to say? I think that's
everything, my friend.
Again, thank you so much for coming. You've really given us such a wonderful time tonight. So thank you very much.